And here we are once again, Allie, back for another recap of Celebrity Big. I have.
We are back for Celebrity Big Brother 3. we will be covering Thursday and Friday's episodes. We are a little behind, but it's okay.
We are a bit behind. We've been kind of busy with stuff, but we are going to be caught up on both weeks. This is what happens with Celebrity Big Brother seasons is like there's multiple evictions per week and it's hard to stay caught up, but we're going to try the best we can, especially with one of these being a 2-hour episode. So, of course, as always, I'm here with my lovely and beautiful co-host, Allie. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic. I have some days off, which is nice, and it was my birthday on Sunday.
Woo! We do love that. Happy 29th, indeed. Happy belated 29th. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into this. So going into this premiere week, we already talked about the first episode, so we're not going to be talking about that one because we already did a whole, live reaction to it and things like that, which was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do that again at some point.
I think we were thinking of maybe doing that on the finale.
Yeah, we'll see. But maybe. The general consensus we got from that premiere is that it was a good premiere, but we didn't get enough to really assess how we felt about this season. So just from these 2 episodes, I guess I'll ask you, how are you feeling about this season so far?
It's definitely pretty interesting. Some people are quite the character and some people are overplaying, but I mean overall it's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
It's very good, and everyone is very cracked and everyone's a mess.
I'm very much enjoying this so far. I think though I do still believe that production did not care about this season at all. It is evident to me that they did not care about this season. I think this cast is very much delivering. I think they are very strategic. They care about this game. They're putting a lot more effort in than I expected. Some of them are completely clueless, as we mentioned, but there's a good majority of people here that I generally do enjoy watching, and that's something that I'm very happy to say. But we're just going to go ahead and get into these 2 episodes, which we're going to talk about Thursday. What a whirlwind of an episode we have to talk about here. There's a lot that goes down in this first week. Now, I will say right off the bat, what sucks about this first week is that there is a whole other half of it that we're just never going to know. As we know, feeds were supposed to go up on Wednesday. They did not go up for some reason. They waited until Friday to put them up, and I think this was very much a mistake. There's other there's reasons as to why, maybe Kirkpatrick got a false positive for COVID. I heard that theory, and then I also heard he got into some sort of fight with Mirai to the point where she made him cry and he wanted to quit, and then he didn't quit. And then, like I said, with COVID, apparently they were all wearing masks for 24 hours until he returned to the house, and they didn't want people to be weirded out by that. Why is everyone wearing masks all of a sudden? So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that could have caused that delay. But either way, what sucks is that there's a lot here that we're simply just not going to know. We're not going to know why, for example, why things shifted in the way that they did. We're not going to know a lot of what actually happened, but I do think that Thursday does a pretty good job of covering the majority of what went down here. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. So we see Miesha is very excited to be HOH. She wants to set herself up as best as she can in the game, and doesn't really do that right off the bat. I mean, we expected Miesha to be a very messy HOH, and that's exactly what she was. Very much what we expected, I think, is what Miesha gave us here. But her plan is to keep all of the athletic people together. So she makes an alliance of her, Lamar, and Todrick. And this was interesting. She mysteriously keeps Mirai out of it, even though this is an athletic alliance. She doesn't initially put Mirai in this alliance. How did you feel about this?
That was weird. Apparently, well, she is a guys, girls. So I mean, it's not shocking to me, but I hated it.
Yeah, I just felt
Mirai deserves better.
It just felt super targeted to me. Like, there's obviously like she willingly kept her out of the alliance, and it just really annoyed me when she ended up doing that. Because if you want to keep the athletes together, Mariah's right there. Literally, Mariah is right fucking there. Like, Mariah is an athlete too. Let's not like leave her out of things. I did not like that at all. But we see Cynthia immediately. She wants this gala power. She doesn't care what it is. She wants it. And I am loving Cynthia so far. I think that she is one of the strongest players in the house. I think she has such a strong social game. She's so likable to watch. I think she's definitely going to be one of the power players of this season.
Oh, yeah. And she's very strategic, too. She's definitely one of the top players in the game.
Yeah, for sure. So we see Todrick goes ahead and makes a deal with Chip Skylark, basically, saying that they have each other. Mariah and Teddi also make a deal with him. Cynthia then pulls herself into this as well. And then Mirai proposes that they add Shanna in to potentially help their odds in the game. They make a potential 6-person alliance. And here's the thing, Allie, a 6-person alliance out of a cast of fucking 11. I don't think they realize this. There are 11 people in this cast, and they're already proposing
they're so alliance. They're so messy. They're just like, fuck it.
I know. I was like, what are you doing? There's literally only 11 of you. Like, I can understand if this is a normal season of Big Brother, like there's 16 of you, 6 is doable. Like, that's a good
now
number.
There's only 9.
Well, yeah, 6 is doable, I think, for an alliance. But when there's 11 of you, that's more than half the house. So, like, no, don't. That is not a good idea at all. But they do name an alliance known as the Formation. And I feel like this alliance was, like, doomed to fail the second they named it. Like, the second that happened, I'm like, this is just not gonna last at all.
It was way too early for that.
Yeah, I don't feel like anyone was on the same page when it came to this alliance. But there's a little bit more going on that you're gonna get into.
Lamar talks to Todrick about how he was hoping Chloe would have been on the cast and how much he wishes the relationship would have gone better. They all discuss how brave he is for coming forward.
I'm honestly liking I'm liking Lamar a lot more than I thought that I initially would. Like, I really thought he was going to come into the house and he wasn't really going to care. And he was just going to be all about, like, just the money and things like that. But he legitimately seems like he's having a good time. He's providing us with some really good conversations. And I think he also, like, he's a bit of a troll. Like, you can tell Lamar's a bit of a troll. And I'm very much here for it. I'm liking Lamar a lot, actually. And I'm interested in seeing.
He's definitely a troll, but he's also doing pretty well in this game. Like, he's kind of one of the underdogs.
I will say he's not exactly strategic. There are a couple things that come up in these episodes, so I'm generally curious to see what he would do with an HOH, but he's very entertaining so far, and I'm liking him a lot more than I thought I would.
Oh, me too. He's so good.
Yes.
Misha talks to Chip Skylark about what to do, and she pulls him into the Athletes Alliance.
Even though he's not a fucking athlete for some reason, she pulls him in there. I was like, you pull him in but not Mirai? Like, why?
Literally, like, she just needs more guys.
What's his athleticism? Like, dancing? Like,
well, I mean, dancing is active, but still.
Okay, but like, he was literally in a boy band.
I know.
Like, what about that is athletic?
Literally. The three of them talking, it seems like she wants to target Teddi being a big threat and is probably the person most likely to come after her.
Which I think we kind of had an inkling that she was going to do that when she did not offer Teddi safety. When they were all competing in the HOH, and like she promised Todrick safety but not Teddi.
Misha has something against Mariah and Teddi.
Oh yeah, she really does. She does not like women. She's not like women at all.
The house guests are told about the gala gift, which will make the holder untouchable for the week. One by one, they will pass a hat around until the last person, who will then be the person that wins safety for the week.
How did you feel about this twist?
It's interesting. Like, it definitely gives a lot more power. Like, it gives someone literally safety. It's a lot of power for sure.
Yes. So
It's
my
so
initial thought was
it's kind of like a hit or miss for me. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
that I didn't like it very much because I felt this is something that you can so easily game because all you have to do is like get in an alliance with someone and be like, this is your week to win the hat. But thankfully, this seems to only be a 1 week thing. This is not something they're going to be doing all season long. I kind of wish they did, but I also wish that it was like more randomized and that it wasn't like I wish the way it worked is like they pass the hat around, they each put the hat on, and like maybe it says something like the person that's safe. It's like you are safe or something like that. I think that would have been cool, but that's not exactly how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm dying at the fact that the next note just says Todrick and Carson.
Oh. I meant to talk. Okay. That was supposed to be about how Todrick and Carson basically like stage this whole thing where like Todrick didn't give safety to Carson and he wanted people to think that him and Carson weren't working together. It was such like an irrelevant thing, but it is something that happened. I don't know what they were trying to do there,
honestly,
but it did not work.
Once it just says Todrick and Carson, that it's their new show.
Yeah.
And as planned, Cynthia is the last person to get the hat and does receive safety. She should.
Which I was happy about. But again, it's like the person that got safety wanted safety. Like there isn't really much to this twist at all.
I mean, I'm happy with who got it because I love her.
Oh, yeah. I like Cynthia a lot, and I hope she's able to stick around for a while.
Yeah. They are also told that the hat will be a curse as well, and someone who isn't nominated could still be going.
Which I was so confused by this. I'm like, excuse me? Like, what does that mean? So thankfully we do get an answer in the next episode, but they did not explain this well, like, at all.
Yeah, that's true.
We were all wondering, like, what is up with Mon'S?
I know. Oh my God. Misha then pulls Mariah aside and pitches to her to join the alliance.
Oh, God.
Her plan is to make Chris and Todd initial noms and to backdoor Teddi, but then asks her if she'd be willing to go up as a pawn.
So let me get this straight. Miesha wants to pull Mirai into her alliance, which she should have done initially anyway. She should have initially put her in that alliance. And then in the same conversation says, yeah, I want you to be in this alliance. And to prove that you can trust me, would you like to be a pawn?
Literally, like, that makes no sense.
I just don't understand any of her logic here.
Misha's playing way too hard.
What she should have done, like, this is what I would have done in her situation. Like, if you really wanted this to work, what she should have done was initially pull Mirai into that alliance, make Mirai feel comfortable, and then phrase it as, hey, there aren't many options in the house right now. There's only 11 of us. Would you be comfortable going up as a pawn? I think if she would have done that, I don't think Mirai does what she does next. And I got to say, I do not blame Mirai for this next thing at all because understandably, Mirai does not trust Misha in the slightest after this because it very much came across as I need a pawn, so I'm going to make you think that you're okay with me, and then I'm going to put you up and make you think like you're safe. Like that's just not the way to go about it. Like if you're going to have someone be a pawn in your alliance, you make them feel comfortable before you do that. You don't in the same conversation tell them, hey, go up as a pawn. Like I feel like this is like Big Brother logic 101. Like I just don't know what Misha is thinking here at all. But anyway, let's get to the next thing that happens here. So Mirai then goes ahead, literally tells Teddi the entire plan. And she is obviously very annoyed. And look, did Mirai have to do this in the way that she did? No, but I don't really blame her at all, to be honest with you, because I wouldn't have trusted Misha in this scenario. I would not have trusted Misha that Teddi is the target. I would have thought maybe I'm the target and this is her way of putting me up. I feel like Mirai is someone who is a little bit more skilled in terms of like strategy and things like that. We know that she's a fan. She's talked about it preseason and things like that. And I think that she felt some paranoia when it came to Miesha, understandably. And I think because of that, she, went to Teddi and basically gave her the heads up that she was going to go up. And that's exactly why what happened. So I don't blame Mariah at all. Who I do blame is this next part of what happens, because Todrick gets word of this.
No.
And when he first got word, I said, okay, what he's probably going to do is he's going to go to Miesha. He's going to tell her that some people might know about Teddi. If he would have done that, that would have been fine, because he's not name dropping anyone. He's not putting a target on himself. He's just letting her know that Teddi knows about the plan. That's all he's doing. But that's not what he does. He literally brings up Mariah's name, says that she's playing both sides, and would rat him out if he were to win HOH, which I did not understand this logic at all, because Todrick is in probably the best position at the moment. This does not last long at all. I feel like he basically ruined his positioning just by doing this. But if you are worried that Mariah is playing both sides, why don't you work with her since you're also playing both sides? I feel like this was his opportunity to make a deal with Mariah, do something that people wouldn't see, work closely with her and protect her and make sure that, she feels good with you. And I think if he would have done that, Todrick would be in a much better position than he is right now. But with the way things are playing out, Todrick's probably going to go be one of the next few boots. I think. I don't think he's making it far at all in this game. I've seen a lot of people say that these house guests are just going to, rig him a win and they're just going to hand him a win in that way. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all, especially with how much Todrick has kind of already ruined his game here. So, so he tells Miesha about what Mariah's done, and Miesha's now rethinking her entire nom set, which I didn't understand. I didn't understand why Miesha was, because again, here's the thing, sure, Mariah's doing this, but you still can just go ahead with the Teddi plan. She already knows about it. At least give her that fighting chance. And that's what was annoying about this, is that Mariah doesn't even want to give Teddi a chance here. And I'm no Teddi fan, not at all. There were things that Teddi said in the house that the show's not going to show and that we didn't see on the feeds. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but I'm not really a Teddi fan. But I do still think, just from a courtesy perspective, as the HOH, you should at least try to give someone a fighting chance. And she did not do that with Teddi for some reason, because Teddi now knows Miesha feels she has to redo her entire nom set, which she didn't need to do. She could have waited to put up Mirai for the next several weeks. Say, okay, this is a red flag that I can't trust Mirai. I don't understand why suddenly she feels she needs to change the entire nom set here. So she talks with Todd, who tells her that, not Todd, she talks with Teddi, and Teddi tells her that she has her back and that she will not put her up next week. Miesha believes her, and now is thinking about potentially just going ahead and putting up Mirai. And I just did not understand this logic for a couple reasons. One, we go all the way back to the beginning of the episode, and Miesha says, I want to keep the athletes together. Two, it's the fact that she was so adamant about going for Teddi, and then the second Teddi says, oh, I have you, she just believes her for no reason. I just didn't understand any of what Miesha was doing here. None of her, I don't think there was a single move she made this week that made a lick of sense. So overall, just not a very good first HOH, as we kind of expected. But
it was a mess.
Miesha then does something else that I really don't think she should have done. She goes to Carson, tells him how much she wants to work with him, but then also offers to put him up as a pawn. What is with her? I don't understand this logic. You don't tell someone that you want to work with them and then tell them to go up as a pawn. You give them that chance to feel good with you, and then I just don't get this. I don't understand Miesha at all here, but basically her plan is now to take out Mirai, and that's exactly what she does at the nomination ceremony. I will say Chris Kattan'S reaction to her nom set was fucking priceless. The way he was just so shocked at what's going on. I'm honestly really loving Kattan a lot, not because of the gameplay, but because he is okay with the fact that like he has no idea what's going on. He knows he's in the outs. He knows that he's not really in like the strategical part of the game, and he's content with that. And I kind of love that. I like his self-awareness a lot, and I think
I really like him as a person for sure.
He's just really fun to watch, but I wouldn't say in any way he's playing a good game. But my God, I mean, such a infuriating HOH reign all around.
No, terrible.
Yeah. So with that said, let's get into Friday, Allie, because there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, it was a 2-hour episode. So we'll go ahead and talk about it. So Miesha talks about how Mariah is now her target because of how much of a fierce competitor that she is, and how everyone loves Carson. If the house were to choose, Mariah would go. Again, even though she said she wanted to keep all the athletes together, she wants to discard of one immediately, but neither here nor there. Mariah's unsure if she is Miesha's pawn or an actual target, which again is like, I don't blame Mariah for feeling this way, considering, you know, what Miesha initially said to her. It just felt like a red flag. It was not something that made her feel good in the slightest. And Teddi now hopes that Miesha is going to stick true to her deal, especially with 2 people in her alliance being on the block. And I don't know, Teddi. I don't know if she's going to. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, but Todrick then plans to save Carson, but then he also feels that him being on the block isn't bad for his game because of how loved he is, and he wants to like steer clear. And this is what I didn't understand with Todrick, and this is where I think Todrick's what?
Oh, I just said me neither.
This is, I think, Todrick's fatal flaw in the game right now, is that he is thinking so far ahead. And he's not focusing on the fact that all these things that he wants to do, he can do much later on. I don't understand why he wants to play both sides of the house. Why is he already picking a side? Like, it's literally the first week. There's no reason to pick a side so early on. You can make Carson and Cynthia, you know, think you're good with them, but you can also make Miesha and, you know, Chip Skylark and that group think that you're good with them as well. Like, you really can just play both sides here. Todrick doesn't seem like he wants to do that. He just wants to get rid of Carson the first chance that he can get. And I just didn't understand this. Like, he talks about later on how him and Carson are friends and they have this very, you know, lifelong friendship, and it's very important to him. But now he's like, okay with just getting rid of Carson. Again, I just don't understand his gameplay at all here. Todrick, honestly, what?
Todrick and Misha are just playing way too hard, and
he's playing the way I thought he was going to. And like I said,
they're throwing everyone away.
Yeah, like I said in the first episode that like he was impressing me, and after this, like, no, Todrick is playing exactly how I feared he was going to, and I do not see him lasting very much at all here. So Miesha talks about how stressful that was, but she feels good about her choices, and she mentions to Todrick and Cynthia that Mirai is the target and Carson is the pawn. She wants to make sure that Mirai goes home, and she talks about how much her original plan blew up in her face because it wasn't a good plan, but that, you know, that's beside the point. So she has to be more strategic of who she trusts. And Todrick then talks about how Miesha is starting to become his number one. And I'm like, what? Like, after 1 week, like, you already are thinking this? Like, again, Todrick is thinking so far ahead into the game.
Oh, I know.
It's not necessarily a bad thing to do that. But when it's week 1 and, like, you claim you're trying to play both sides, this is not the time to pick a side, Todrick. The time to pick a side is when you're down to, like, I don't know, 8, 7. Like, that's when you pick the side, not at 11. Like, that's not the time you're supposed to do it. But Kattan then talks to Mirai and says that he doesn't think she's going, especially based on what she represents for the audience and for the world. And she talks about how much pressure that is for her. And she talks about how she didn't grow up without watching people who look like her, and how Asians are often overlooked in the athletic business. And I love this conversation. Like, this was not a duo that I expected, but I really enjoyed their bond a lot here. And I hope we get to see more of it moving forward, because I really like these two overall.
I just think their friendship is just really sweet, and it's just very wholesome. And Yeah, this moment was just a really nice moment between them. A very
and like Chris Kattan is not doing a lot on this show, but it's moments like this that really make me won over by him. I think this was a really strong moment for sure, because he talks about how much he likes Mariah a lot, and he can't imagine the amount of pressure that she's going through right now, but it may be exactly what she needs in order to win. I just thought overall this was just a really good scene between the two of them, and I really do feel bad for Mirai here, because I feel like the issue with Mirai, and we'll talk about this more in other episodes, but like I think the biggest issue with Mariah for me is that I think this was just not the right cast for her. Like generally, I don't think this was a great group for her. I think of like Ari in Celebrity Big Brother 1, and how she was young, but she at least had James, and the two of them were able to bond because of that, because they're similar ages, they have similar interests. There's nobody in the house aside from a few people that really have the same interests as Mirai. And I think that's a problem. A lot of these people are married. A lot of these people have had very successful careers. And Mirai, meanwhile, is in her 20s. And she's had a very successful career, but these people have just gone through different experiences than Mirai. And I think that's definitely where she's struggling. And that obviously isn't something that she can control, but I think that probably is like her biggest issue. But thankfully she's able to mostly get out of it this week. We'll talk about that. But the formation then talks, and all of them wonder if Miesha knows about their alliance at all, considering the two of them are already on the block. Again, formation is just a flop. Like, it's a flop alliance. I think we knew it was going to be a flop alliance from the second that it started. So this was not shocking to me at all that it did not work out.
Yeah, it definitely didn't work out at all.
Yeah, no, it's a shit show. It very much is.
It's a mess.
Like the season so far.
Yeah, pretty much. Carson talks with Teddi, and they wonder who is leaking info to Misha. And Teddi feels it's Todrick because of how well he understands the game, which Carson is unsure about because of how loyal he is to the Alliance. But he is concerned about Mirai and feels she may be a double agent. Teddi agrees and they agree one of them or someone needs to win the veto.
I don't know how they got the sense that like Mirai is like this double agent. I didn't really understand that at all. I don't know why they don't think Mirai is like with them. I really think they should have just like tried to pick her brain a bit and like really see where her head is at, and like maybe get a sense of, why she told Teddi what she did. And Teddi does admittedly try to defend her here. But Carson is like very hung up over, and I like Carson a lot. Like, let me just say, like, Carson is such good casting. He's so funny to watch. I think he's such hilarious. A good personality. If he were to like get to the end, I would not be upset. Like, generally would not be upset at all, because I think he's very entertaining. But I don't understand this notion that Mirai is this double agent. I just don't know where that narrative is like coming from here. So that really was like perplexing to me.
Todrick feels in debt to Misha and is considering stepping out of formation to ride this out with her.
Need I remind you, it's fucking week 1. It's week 1, Todrick.
What is he doing? What the hell is he doing?
There's so many moves that people are making that are just so baffling to me. And I get it that they're celebrities, but Todrick is just, this is what I was worried about. I was worried he was going to overplay his hand. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's just thinking way too far ahead. He talks about later how he has like a full-on crush on Miesha, which was weird, but like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Todrick. Not a fan of him at all.
Yeah, he's frustrating.
Yeah.
Shanna tells Chip Skylark about her beef with Lamar and how she apparently confused Chloe with Kim and called her a donkey. She very much regrets it, especially since she doesn't know her. She doesn't expect him to hold a grudge, though.
Yeah, so this is going to be a non-storyline. I was hoping that we would get into it, but it doesn't really seem like it's going to go anywhere. But that's good because I'm really, really liking Shanna in this season.
Same.
I think Shanna is kind of playing the game that like Todrick wants to play, where like she is playing both sides and she's not getting clocked for it, and everyone seems to feel good with her. And I do think Shanna has like legitimate winner potential this early on.
I know.
We'll see her.
I knew she was going to be the underdog for sure.
You did call that. You did call that. But yeah, Shanna is very much impressing me, and I think early on she's definitely one of the best players for sure.
Yes, I feel like right now the best are probably Shanna, Cynthia, and Carson.
Oh yeah. I would definitely say those three.
Yeah. The veto drawing happens. Cynthia, Lamar, Todrick will be playing an audition. Audition. What?
Audition? They're gonna audition for the veto.
Audition.
Yeah, they're gonna audition for the veto.
I know, right? It's a Broadway show.
Yeah.
Anyways, they'll be playing in addition to Mirai, Misha, and Carson. Todrick was shocked. Mirai picked him and says that he plans to keep noms the same if he wins. Yeah, I don't know why she picked him.
Yeah, that was a really weird pick, but I also just think Mariah has not really been able to get a lot of allies in the house. I thought she was going to pick Chris Kattan, but she picked Carson.
Ugh. She picked Todrick.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Misha tells him she will backdoor Kattan if one of them comes down, and Todrick pushes to her that this may be the only opportunity to get Carson out because of how likable he is. He feels Teddi, and Cynthia are together. She feels he could be a threat, but Mariah is who betrayed her this week.
I don't know why he pushed this to her. Like, generally, I don't know why he thought this was a good idea. Because, like, it's very clear that she has a target. And if he wants to stick as close to her as possible, like, just do what she wants. It's week 1. There's no reason to, like, rock the boat this early on. And I don't understand why Todrick is doing these things that he should be doing in like week 4 or 5 of the game, not week 1. Like I just didn't understand any of what he was doing here.
Oh my god. It's time for the veto comp. All of them will be called out one by one to compete. The comp is basically a logic puzzle. They each have to scroll through a text to figure out the order. They need to put the clock in the right places.
Can I just say right now, I fucking hated this comp. Like, I absolutely despised everything about this comp. I'm fine with a good logic puzzle, but when it has this voice and it's like, I don't want to hear that. I couldn't stand it at all. I was just very annoyed by what was going on. The voice that was like, sorry, boo, and things like that. I just couldn't. I couldn't stand it at all. So yeah, I was not a fan of this comp. I was not a fan of the announcer. Just scrap it all. Scrap it all. I'm here for original comps, but I don't like stuff like this.
And with a very impressive time of 3:54, Carson
very
does win.
Impressive compared to everyone else.
Carson does win the first veto of the season.
And it was not close. Like, in any way, this was not close. Like, people, besides 3 minutes, there was, like, 16 minutes. There was, like, an 8-minute. Like, it wasn't, it was not close at all.
And then Lamar was like, I timed out a strategy.
Yeah, I will say that is the one bit of strategy we do get from Lamar this week is that he smartly decided he's not going to win many comps early on because he's waiting for the right time to strike. And I hope he gets it. That's all I'll say. I hope that he gets it because I've heard this story before where people are waiting for the right time to make a move and they don't do it. So I hope Lamar actually like follows through with it and doesn't like pull an Enzo or something where like he says he's going to make a move and he doesn't do it. I want Lamar to make a move. Do it. Just I don't know when you gotta do it. Just strike. Like that's all I'm asking. But we'll see if he actually does it.
Misha recognizes after this Todrick was onto something about Carson being such a big threat. She is worried she will have nominated at least 25% of the house by the end of the week.
Gee, it's almost like there's only 11 people in the house and you should have made a 6-person alliance, but you know, that's a different story.
But yeah, go off.
Oh, yeah.
Mariah talks to Miesha and says she would love to stay, and if she won HOH next week, she wouldn't put her up on the block. And tells her that she would like to for her to target. And tells her that she would like for her to target would like her target to be Carson because he's the type that wins the game. And they will all get picked off one by one, and she swears to her that she has her. And Miesha says she thinks she could be a really good asset. And she says the plan is to put up Kattan.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good pitch from Mariah, actually. I thought this was really going to...
I loved it.
I thought this was really going to get her somewhere because, she talks to Miesha about how, she's pretty much open on who she's going to target and things like that. And Miesha's plan makes sense. Like, now her wanting to target Carson makes sense. Like, if Todrick had pitched this to Miesha initially, I think this could have worked. But, when he did it, I just don't think it was like the right time at all. But I think this definitely makes a lot of sense. I feel like Carson is going to be one of those people where it's like no one's going to want to get him out. And so he's just going to get all the way to the end. And I think that Carson is someone that very much does have that capital to win this game. He's very likable. Everyone seems to be getting along with him. And I feel like, especially with like him and Todrick, like he's definitely the lesser of like two evils in that way. And I think people are going to see him as that. And I think that's why he's like going to get to the end. So like this was good game awareness from Miesha. Like she has moments, small moments, but moments of brilliance. And I think this was one of them. But it's also like, I think the only thing she does that like kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I personally like putting up Kattan, like that makes sense. Like just go with that. Like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Put up Kattan, take down Carson. That would have been fine, but that's not what she does.
Todrick comes in and Miesha tells him about Mirai's offer, and she feels she now needs to strengthen her athlete alliance, and they need to do what they can to save Mirai.
It's almost like you should have done that initially, but you didn't. I don't know.
But yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, sure. Now protect her.
Mm-hmm. Shanna asks Teddi what Miesha is going to do, and Teddi is confident it won't be her, but she is unsure. Shanna is worried because she has been unable to make a real connection with her, and knowing how close Misha is with Todrick and Cynthia has the Mon'S, there aren't many options left.
And again, this moment with Shanna, I thought was so brilliant what she decided to do here.
I love this. Shanna goes to her and tells her she doesn't know where her head is at, and she wants to work with her, and she doesn't know who will help her out. She tells Misha about the formation and how that crumbled, and she is now alone. And Misha pulls her in and says she will put her trust in her moving forward.
And see, this is one of those moments where like it makes sense to talk about an alliance because that alliance doesn't really exist anymore. The formation isn't something that's going to last. Shayna's aware that it's not going to last, and now she needs to do what she can to help her positioning. And I think even if she doesn't really like Misha, which she has flat out said on the feeds, by the way, in a very funny moment, that like she thinks Misha's an asshole and she doesn't like her.
Yep.
Even with that, she still makes an effort to like try to make a deal with her and like get into her ear. And I love this. I really do love the way Shayna is playing this game. I think she's making these like very subtle moves, but I think it's good enough to where I do think she's going to get really far in this game. And I think it's stuff like this that's really going to help her.
Mm-hmm. She's like really playing the middle.
Oh yeah, very much so, and successfully. Like she's doing a good job with it. Unlike Todrick, who didn't even try to play the middle. I know. So Todrick then talks about how Carson proved during the comp to be the biggest threat in the game, and they can use this opportunity to weaken him by taking a shot at one of his closest allies, which he plans to use Teddi. And he explains the plan to Misha and that Carson will no longer be as powerful without one of them. However, if she doesn't take down Teddi, they will be unstoppable. And Misha feels this may be the move because she may not be able to take this shot again. even though, again, she made that deal with Teddi and told her she wasn't going to put her up. Like, I don't understand why she didn't just stick to her guns and Chris Kattan.
She keeps on giving Teddi fake promises because she doesn't like her.
Yeah, I just don't. Again, I don't understand anything that she's doing here. She talks to Teddi and tells her that things have changed and that she has to backdoor her because she's on the other side of the house. And Teddi really does try here. Like, to her credit, Teddi really does try to like fix her positioning and like make this deal and tell her like, no, I got you, and that they connected over like her being a mother and things like that, and that she broke that trust, but she can still with 1,000,000% tell her that she would not put her up. And Miesha explains that she would understand if she did, and that she has to send someone home. And Teddi is obviously annoyed because the decision is final and she completely went back on their deal, and she's not even trying to give her a fighting chance here. I did kind of feel bad for Teddi in this instance. I will say, like, again, I'm not a fan of her. I don't like a lot of the things I've heard about her, but I did feel bad with her in this instance because the way Miesha is handling things, it's like she's not even really giving her like a shot. She's not even willing to listen to her. And I just don't think this was a good move from her very much at all here.
No.
So the veto ceremony goes down. Carson does use it on himself, and Miesha then goes ahead and backdoors Teddi. And obviously after this, Carson's freaking out. He doesn't understand why Teddi's up. We see Mariah, on the other hand, is feeling pretty optimistic with Teddi next to her, which I do think that is like best case scenario for Mariah, is for Teddi to go up, because a lot of people were not vibing with Teddi. I think that definitely did help Mariah's case quite a bit, but Teddi plans to fight hard to stay, but is not happy that Miesha did this to her at all. She really wishes that things played out differently, but of course that is not the case. And again, I think really just like the last thing Miesha does that was just a really terrible move from her. And I'll be honest, like, I don't really know where Miesha is after this. Like, I don't really feel like she's in a very good spot after this week at all. I think that she is very much on the outs when it comes to this game. And I just don't see her making it super far. Like, I keep seeing the comparisons to Christmas, and I would not go that far with her. But the thing I will say is that with Christmas, at least she has the skills to like get far in the game. I don't think Miesha has those skills because Miesha is too crazy, and Miesha's too crazy, and she overthinks, and she makes all these moves like very haphazardly to where I don't even think she's going to make it that far. Like, I don't see her. I don't see her getting very far in this game at all, but we'll have to see. But very disastrous HOH week for Miesha, to say the least.
It's such a mess. It's such a shit show.
Yeah. So we then get this really good scene with Lamar and Mirai, and I liked this a lot. They talk about sports and how they talk about racial tension, and that Lamar says that it's what America was built off of, and he talks about like his grandmother and the limited opportunities that she had and how she kind of like taught him to never judge someone by their skin color. And Mirai talks about how important it is for her generation to speak up about racial biases so everyone can kind of like come together and accept and learn all cultures. And they talk about how Black and Asian people were not allowed to skate, and that while Black men continually get shot, it still kind of gets swept under the rug. And while they're both proud to be Americans, like, the country needs to represent them as well. I thought this was a very needed conversation. I really enjoyed this a lot. And I think, again, like, this is one of the few instances where Mirai does have something to relate to here. Mirai can bond with someone over sports, and they'll understand, her frustration with like discrimination in sports and things like that. And how underrepresented, certain groups are. I think this was a very needed conversation. I enjoyed this a lot.
I thought this moment was amazing. Like, it was just very important and very wholesome, and it was just very needed. And both Mirai and Lamar are like very amazing people.
Yeah, it's very much like they are definitely using their platform to their advantage, for good use. And I think they did a really
Yes.
good it was a really really well done scene. I
Oh
enjoyed what
yeah.
we got with Mirai and Lamar here a lot. I think that
So
everything they
good.
talked about was very much needed. And I hope we get more of it. I hope we get more of it
I
because
hope
these are like
so.
the kind of conversations that I like hearing in Big Brother. I
Me
like that they've
too.
been showing these a lot more recently, and I hope
Yes.
they continue because I think they're very important. But
Yeah, I would love.
Cynthia,
They definitely need to do way more.
yeah, for sure. So Cynthia and Carson then go to Teddi, and they're surprised by the nomination, but it goes to show how quickly things can change. Carson's like very thrown off by this, and Carson feels that Shanna, Chip, Skylark, Cynthia, and Carson could save her, as well as maybe Todd and Lamar. And she goes into like full campaign mode here. And again, to her
I
credit, I
know.
do think she did a semi good job with campaigning.
Like, I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of her, but I mean, I give her
No.
props.
Oh, yeah.
She's definitely good TV, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, she's not boring. Like, in any way, she's not
Oh, yeah.
boring. I'll give her that. She's not boring.
She first goes to Todd, who says he is up in the air with the boat, which she doesn't buy. She then goes
Yeah.
to Kattan and says her feelings are hurt, and he says it would make sense, but he has her. She tells him the vote comes down to him based on how many votes there were.
Yeah, which is kind of true.
Yeah, it's time for the reveal of Mon'S curse.
Yeah. So I talked about the curse before and how I didn't really like the first part of it. The second part of it, now this is where things get a little spicy, and I like this. I like the second part of this a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The second part of this twist reveals that when the phrase is reversed, it becomes nom now.
Yes.
They will now pass the hat around until the last person who gets it then goes on the block in the place of a nominee.
Or as we like to call it, safety chain, but not elimination. It's more
No,
like
no,
a
not safety chain.
nomination. Oh yeah,
Um,
you've left on that a lot. But
yeah, it's
yeah,
true.
this I thought was very exciting. I really like the
It
way
was
this played
exciting though,
out.
yeah.
I really like the idea of this twist a lot. I'd like to see it
Me
again. I
too.
really would. I think it changes a lot of things, and I think
Yeah.
what's really good about like a twist like this is like if you want someone to go, you can just take that shot right then and there
Yeah.
and put them on the block, and you don't have
Oh
to. And
yeah.
like HOH has zero decision in this, which I think is really cool. So I want to
Yeah.
see more stuff like this. I think this is definitely the way to go in terms of twists.
Oh yeah, this is definitely like one of the more creative twists.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones they've had in a bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Todd is the last person to get it and replaces Mirai. So yay, she's safe.
Yeah. Now that being said, like probably the most boring possible choice was for Todd to get it because Todd is just like such a non-factor in this show right now. Like we don't see him
Todd's
at
just
all.
kind of honestly, Todd is just kind of there.
Because he just sleeps. That's all he does. And in terms of the show, at least, like all we've seen is that he's just kind of sleeping, and Chris Kattan's kind of doing the same thing.
Like I don't dislike him or anything. He's just
no. I like Todd a lot actually.
He's just like boring as a player.
Yeah, just not very fun to watch so far. But I hope that
hopefully he gets better. I mean,
yeah, I hope
he's
able to show a little bit more, strategy. But right now, not really doing it.
Yeah, we'll see. There's still lots of game left to play.
Yeah, I do want to talk about I do want to talk about this pitch that Todd makes because that was really funny.
Todd is the last. Oh yeah, so the new nominees for the week are Todd and Teddi.
Yes.
And yeah, now we're getting to the pitch. They each make a pitch to stay. Todd tells him to do what they got to do.
That's it.
Teddi
Literally says, "Do what you got to do," and then just sits back down. I love it.
I know.
Iconic.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
And then Teddi talks about how grateful she is for all of them, and has played a straightforward game and wants to play hard. Oh, the first line. Oh, I thought you wanted someone to say something about it.
No, I don't have much to say about her pitch. It was standard. Not much to say.
Yeah, it's pretty chill. The first live eviction of the season goes down, and by a vote of 5-3, Teddi Mellencamp is the first celebrity evicted from this season.
I will say, I like that this was kind of a divided vote. It was not unanimous in any way.
Yeah.
You could see that some people, did very much want to keep Teddi. Carson votes for Todd. Cynthia votes for Todd, and I believe Lamar voted for
Lamar,
Todd.
I think Shanna.
Shanna voted for Teddi.
Oh no,
Shanna
sorry, Shanna voted for Teddi.
Yeah. Because Julie talks about it in the interview. But I like the fact that this vote was not unanimous. I thought it was more exciting that way, even though nothing really comes from it. This was exciting.
Oh yeah, I do not like unanimous votes. They're just so exciting when they're like close votes are just so exciting and intense.
Oh yeah.
Lamar is confused as to why they all have to walk her out, and if they should sit back down. He's so funny.
You gotta read the next note first, though, before we talk about that.
He also doesn't understand why everyone is crying.
I love this so much. I feel like Lamar is just a big old troll. I feel like he's doing this on purpose, so like we're gonna question it, and I'm very much here for it. I thought this was all. Like it is. This was honestly, all so great.
I kind of do feel like it's a strategy.
Yeah, I feel like he is trying to play dumb a bit. I've heard some people say that he's not, but I feel like he's definitely like dumbing it down. Because I mean, come on, like I feel like it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But that being said, like it's giving me life, and I love everything that I love everything he's doing.
I'm like living for it.
Yeah, like if he just continues to just like troll all season, I will be 100% here for it because I think it's a lot of fun to watch.
It's hilarious.
Is him in like utter disbelief when they're like walking near the door. I also loved when the picture turned black and white and they had like no reaction to it. They didn't have anything to say. They just kind of like went about with like their conversations. Like they literally do not care that the pictures are black and white. That's not something that matters to them.
Oh my god, I know.
Yeah, I mean the memory wall is kind of shitty anyway, so
yeah, well, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's so half-assed.
Yeah, they did not put any effort into that. But we do get an interview from Teddi, which I'll be honest, this interview with Julie was terrible. Like these questions were very obviously scripted. A lot of the things she asked her, I didn't even write down because she asked her things like, which was more intense, being a housewife or being in the Big Brother house? Like I'm not gonna say anything about that. Like I feel like and like regular Big Brother, Julie's questions like are usually a lot better than this. This felt very much like, well, we're gonna try to cater the celebrities as much as we could, and I didn't like this. I didn't like most of these questions.
No, it just wasn't that good. In her interview, she talked about how she is honored that she's a big enough threat to where they had to get her out first. She feels most betrayed by Todrick because of how much he was in her alliance and assuring her they would get to the end.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, that tells me that Todrick is not winning this game.
Oh, not at all. She's going to be so bitter at him.
Yeah.
She respects it to an extent. She is also surprised Shanna voted her out, but had an inkling she made a deal with Misha.
Yeah,
even though Shanna does not like Misha.
No.
She feels Lamar is playing the best game because of how much of a dark horse he is, but also Kattan with how much he is sleeping his way through things.
I thought that was so funny that she mentioned the two people that don't really seem like they're doing much, and she believes they're doing a little bit more. No, I mean, Kattan literally doesn't know what's going on. Lamar, I don't know. Lamar might be playing dumb a bit. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I legitimately don't know if Lamar is...
What if they both are just playing dumb?
I don't think Kattan is, because he's literally said that, like, he doesn't. He's literally said like he doesn't. I mean,
I don't think he is. I don't think he is, but it'd be funny if he is.
I mean, it would be, but I don't think Kattan is playing dumb at all. I think he just generally doesn't know much about strategy, and he isn't really trying to do much to change that. But that is how we do end things when it comes to this week of Celebrity Big Brother. What a whirlwind of a first week, Allie. This was a very
crazy.
Yeah, very intense first week. I hope it's setting up what's going to be a really entertaining season. I hope this doesn't get boring. I hope that it continues to be as exciting as this week really was. Because, I mean, again...
I feel like the season's going to be entertaining just by this.
Yeah, I mean, as bad as some of this gameplay was, Miesha and Todrick especially, it was still really fun to watch. Like, there's so many things where I'm just shouting at the TV, like, what are you doing? But then you also have some really good gameplay going on from Carson and Cynthia and Shanna. Those three especially are really impressing me so far. And I do think they have the potential to do some damage in this game and get really far. So I think they're going to do a lot of really great stuff. Big fan of Mirai as well. I hope she's able to fix her positioning, but we'll have to see how that.
Honestly, though, we just needed like a skating comp that she could win.
yeah. Make the next HOH the skating comp. That would be much obliged. But anyway, I do think we are going to go ahead and wrap it up there. This is our review for the first week of Celebrity Big Brother 3. Let us know, of course, what you guys are thinking of this season. Love to hear your thoughts on it. I'm very excited to see how the rest of the season does play out. I think it's going to be a fun one for sure, but we will have to see. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in our next video, and we'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.